Is Utah Senator Mike Lee. Senator, thank you for being here tonight. Here's what's in the border deal more specifically, according to the Immigration Accountability Project. They would increase green cards by $50K a year. They would provide work permits for adult children of H-1B visa holders. They would provide immediate work permits to every illegal alien released from custody, taxpayer-funded lawyers to certain unaccompanied children and mentally incompetent aliens, and 5,000 per day minimum, the number of asylees allowed into the United States. You do the math on that, Senator, 365 days a year times 5,000, that's 1.825 million asylees waved into the United States under this so-called deal. Your reaction?
My reaction is that we have no business negotiating this deal and proceeding as if the border crisis unfolding in the United States or anything having to do with a lack of enforcement authority by the president. Look, existing law gives President Joe Biden more than enough authority to enforce the border, to stop this crisis, to prevent the 300,000 people who crossed illegally into our border just last month alone, and the 300 or so terrorists who have come across our borders, just the ones we know about. He's got authority to do that. Remember, our asylum provisions are all written in may language, not shall, which means it's discretionary. There is no right to it. At any moment when we're bogged down, the solution is to stop processing asylum applicants, not to just say, okay, you can come on in, we'll buy you a plane ticket anywhere to the United States. My number one concern with this proposal, with this entire negotiation, is that it falsely suggests that the border crisis exists and persists for want of adequate legislative authority. That is not true. And so, meanwhile, what President Biden and Mitch McConnell and a few others want to do is use the promise of border security provisions as bait to extort and extract Republican votes for Ukraine aid. They want to pass a $106 billion package, most of which goes to Ukraine. They don't have the votes, so they're promising border security. If they were willing to bring us border security, they'd have brought us border security a long time ago, and they could have done so under existing law.
Now, Senator, here's what Senator McConnell is saying about the deal. Watch.
We're inching closer to a chance to restore sanity, common sense enforcement mechanisms, and the rule of law. None of the challenges we face from our southern border to the Red Sea get any easier the longer we wait to address them.
Why is he wrong, Senator?
Well, he's wrong because he's suggesting that it's Congress's fault. Remember, Congress makes the laws. Congress doesn't enforce the laws. We do have laws on the books. Sure, they're in need of retooling from time to time, and we could use that. But that's not why we have the full-fledged crisis with 10 million people coming across illegally since the day Joe Biden took office. That's not the reason. The reason is he refuses to use the authority that he's got. So I couldn't disagree more with Mitch McConnell on that point. He's suggesting that we must act for it to do it. No, Mr. McConnell. Joe Biden must act. He has the power. He just doesn't want to do it.
So this means Senator Ron Johnson, Hawley, Rand Paul, you, Vance. I mean, there's a core group of senators who are still standing up for the American workers. You all got to stick together, and everyone can call their senator and respectfully let their voice be heard. Now, Senator, I understand that you've decided whom you're going to endorse in the Republican primary. Are you going to share it with us tonight?
Yeah, I have made that decision. And as I get into that, I want to be clear. This is a choice. American people have a choice to make. In this circumstance, they have a rare, historically unusual chance to choose between two presidents. They have a chance to choose between order and lawlessness. They have an opportunity to choose between putting America first and America last. I choose first and always to put America first. Look, whether you like Donald Trump or not, whether you agree with everything he says or not, he is our one opportunity to choose order over chaos and putting America first over America last. It's time to get behind him. And look, in presidential campaigns, there are always a lot of promises made. My favorite kinds of political promises are promises kept. Donald Trump has kept promises that he's made as he's campaigned in the past. We know what kind of president he will be. And so whether you agree with him on every point or not, if you are not content with the status quo of lawlessness, of putting America last, it's time to get behind Donald Trump. And I wholeheartedly endorse Donald J. Trump in his bid for the presidency in 2024.
Well, Senator, we really appreciate your joining us tonight, and I'm interested in seeing what President Trump says about this border deal, and I know you'll be talking to him about it. Thank you.
Hey, Sean Hannity here. Hey, click here to subscribe to Fox News YouTube page and catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis. You will not get it anywhere else.